Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining in today's reading. Today we are going to read the part 2 of Srila Rupa Goswami's Vidagdha-Madhava. We read Act 1 and 2 in part 1. We are going to continue from Act 3. Before we start the reading, I just wanted to give a brief introduction of this book. So Sri Vidagdha-Madhava is an English translation of a famous 7-act Sanskrit drama written in 1532 by Srila Rupa Goswami. This drama beautifully details the intimate and sweet transcendental Vrindavana pastimes of Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani. It is structured into 7 acts, starting with Venu-nada-vilasa, the pastimes of flute music, followed by Manmatha-lekha, the love letter, and Radha-sanga, the meeting with Radha, Venu-harana, the theft of the flute, Radha-prasadana, decorating Radha, Sarad-vihara, autumn pastimes, and finally Gauri-vihara, pastimes at Gauri-tirtha. Srila Rupa Goswami, he lived between 1489 and 1564 AD, and he was a Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharya and a follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is one of the seniors of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. That include Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, Srila Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Srila Dasa Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, and Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And we are reading this book from ISKCON Desire Tree's website. And ISKCON Desire Tree is a free online resource for devotees worldwide and the multimedia social network with a mission to spread Krishna consciousness as per the desire of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And they are doing this by providing Gaudiya Vaishnava biographies, Vedic knowledge, teachings, and practices given by Vaishnava Acharyas. The rights for all the content presented are reserved by the ISKCON Desire Tree, and we thank them for making this available for all of us to be able to read it online. And before reading the book, we are also going to offer prayers to the devotees and the Vaishnava Acharyas and to the deities and take their blessings. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamsya Namavom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha Krupa sindubhya eva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're going to start reading a continuation of Srila Rupa Goswami's Vidagdha-Madhava from Act 3. Followed by Lalita, Purnamasi enters. Purnamasi says, "O child, on my account, the son of Nanda has become embarrassed to associate with your friend Radha." Lalita says, "O noble Gopi, great souls are difficult to understand. They do not immediately reveal their minds." Purnamasi says, glancing ahead, "O child, just see how Madhumardhana, the killer of the Madhu demon, is happily sporting with Madhumangala in this garden of Kadamba trees. The flute of Krishna's pastimes measures 3 fingers in length, and it is bedecked with Indranila gems. At the ends of the flute are Arusa gems, rubies, glittering beautifully, and in the middle of it is plated with gold and set ablaze with diamonds. This auspicious flute, pleasing to Krishna, is glittering in his hands with transcendental brilliance." Krishna enters, showing signs of regret. Due to embarrassment, Radha suddenly turned her face from me, as her smiling friend held the corner of her garment. How is it that today I failed to embrace Radha between my arms? O friend Madhumangala, her eyes are like that of the Kanjarita bird, and her blossoming, graceful feminine gestures have completely stolen away the bumblebee of my mind. With longing, he says, Radha once said the following words, "O friend, my favorite pearl necklace has broken, and I must now search for the scattered pearls." Using this trick, she affectionately glanced at me from the corners of her charmingly bewildered, beautiful eyes, even in the presence of her elders. Purnamasi says, sees Krishna from a distance and says apprehensively, Murari's slightly agitated eyes move about, and his sighs cause his garland of Vaikalika flowers to wilt. Who is the fortunate beautiful girl in Gokula who has quickly brought the Lord to this state of meditation? O child, Radha is certainly the cause of this. Krishna, seeing Purnamasi, he approaches her. O noble woman, I offer respects to you. Purnamasi says, O handsome boy, may you be the chief ornament on the sloping breasts of the gopis. Krishna, slightly laughing, says, Do not give these useless benedictions. With the bud of my hand, I have not even touched this dark-colored creeper, who is celebrated as the gopi, Tulasi. Madhumangala, laughing, says, O master, we are looking for a golden creeper, not a dark-colored one. Purnamasi, with a playful, joking smile, says, O Madhava, you are the son of the king of the cowherd men, and you are very well behaved. You are famous in Vraja for the strength of your arms, and for performing hundreds of wonderful pastimes. Why have you so greatly agitated this pious girl? Madhumangala says, O harshly speaking old woman, wait a moment. It is my dear friend who has become agitated by your Radha. He has become so bewildered that he does not understand how he has lost his crown, buffalo horn, and stick. He does not know where he has dropped them. Krishna says, embarrassed, O pious woman, this talkative boy is speaking lies. I will speak the truth to you. I have not fallen in love with your gopis. He should answer this question truthfully here. Madhumangala says, O pious Purnamasi, this is true. I have never observed that the heart of my dear friend has shown any love for your gopis. On the contrary, it is their cosmetics that are seen on Krishna's chest. Krishna, affectionately angry, says, O fool, fie upon you. Although you are my intimate friend, you will not abandon this dishonesty. Purnamasi says, This boy has spoken the truth. O killer of Kamsa, according to your desire, you manifest a reservoir of unlimited transcendental qualities, and you are a great ocean of beauty. You are always possessing a multitude of auspicious opulences. Therefore, in your pastimes of playing your flute, it is no wonder that when the gopis hear that sound, their clothes become loose even inside their homes. And Mangala says, O pious one, you have only described the pastimes of his playing the flute. He has done many other things which you do not know. This very day I have seen him take the gopis' garments from the shore of the Yamuna river and place them on his shoulder with his own hand. Krishna, knitting his eyebrows, he checks Madhumangala and says, O noble woman, even though the sound of my flute is so attractive, your gopis remain gloriously chaste. Lalita says, some king of the rascals has certainly taught you some bewitching mantra, or herb, by which you have destroyed the happiness of household life for all these pure, beautiful wives of the cowherd men. Madhumangala says, Lalita speaks the truth. Without some powerful mantra, how could this boy, who is by nature as gentle as a fresh, cool lotus flower, have put to shame great demons who are as big as mountains? Lalita says, O pious boy, please do not tell us how cool he is. Even the mere remembrance of your friend creates a distressful burning sensation within us. Madhumangala says, O friend, although you are so cooling, the gopis say you are very hot. By touching you, I shall see if this is true. Madhumangala respectfully places his hand on Krishna's chest. Lalita speaks the truth. Madhumangala reflects for a moment and says, Oh Lalita, I understand. Your Radha has entered the heart of Krishna and caused him to become very hot, even though he himself has made millions of moons cool. Lalita says, Oh pious boy, my friend's fragile and unlimited love has been greatly injured by Krishna. How is it possible for her to enter his heart, which is as hard as a diamond? Madhumangala says, Oh fickle girl, my friend is full of very intense and beautiful love for your gopi friend. Cheating sleep, he meditated upon her with single-pointed concentration of the mind, just like a king of the yogis. Krishna, turning his face away with embarrassment, and says, Fool, stop these lying jokes. Lalita says, By the grace of Providence, my dear friend has become very fortunate. Purnamasi says, Oh handsome boy, please stop these jokes. Hear what I have to say. Oh Krishna, you are just like an ocean. The river of Srimati Radharani has reached you from a long distance, leaving behind the tree of her husband, breaking through the bridge of social convention and forcibly crossing the hills of elder relatives. Coming here because of fresh feelings of love for you, that river has now received your shelter. But now you are trying to turn her back by the waves of unfavorable words. How is that you are spreading this attitude, indifference? Madhumangala says, Oh, even though your intelligence is sharp or pure, still you ask this question? Just see how I have constructed this bow of flowers for fighting away cuckoos with their wild warbling. Purnamasi says, O moon-faced Krishna, when this young girl perceives the sweet aroma of the Madhavi creepers, and then again sees how diligently her female companions are guarding the gate, she trembles with fear. When she sees the drops of water on the Chandrakanta jewel on her terrace, she suspects the imminent moonrise and faints with anxiety. Krishna says aside, this is a very painful situation. Purnamasi says, Oh handsome boy, the neglect of another's love is a greatly sinful deed, which causes very bitter consequences. Just see, the jewel of the day, the sun, is now abandoning the redolent twilight, and it is immersing this world in terrible darkness. Ashamed, Krishna bows his head. Glancing at Krishna, she becomes very happy and says to herself, By good fortune, Krishna is smiling and his right eye is blinking auspiciously. Openly, she says, You should become the decoration of this grove of mango trees. One of my friends, Lalita or Vishakha, will bring you to the proper place. Krishna says, embrace. As you say, he and Madhumangala exit. Purnamasi says, Oh daughter Lalita, now I am completely happy. Please go now to Radha. Engaged in conversation, Radha and Vishakha enter. Radhika says, Oh friend, although I have drunk the coconut juice of Krishna's conversation, which is mixed with the camphor of his smile, because I have not drunk the nectar of the touch of his body, I have become greatly emaciated, and am no longer able to remain alive, as if I had swallowed poison. Vishaka says, Oh friend, you do not know how glorious you are. Although Shamasundara has become so affectionate towards you because of your intense love for him, you still nevertheless fear that you are impure. Radhika says, Oh friend, at night the jungle elephant of conjugal love, Cupid, has thrown away the fence and fearlessly trampled the multitude of lotus flowers, which are my longings to meet Krishna. Alas, even though the glowing moon may rise for a long time, it is possible for those wretched lotus flowers to become happy. Purnamasi says, seeing Radha ahead, O daughter Lalita, I am eager to induce your friend Radha to describe her love for Krishna. Please remain silent as I speak to her. Lalita says, I shall do whatever you say. Purnamasi approaches Radha and says with feigned unhappiness, O Radha, your eyes are as charming as a pair of Kanjana birds. With sweet words, Madhava continually begs for the touch of your body. He considers that no other remedy will even slightly cure the agitation of his heart. Radhika says, as if perplexed, Why should I feel embarrassed here? She folds her hands. If a delicate Rangana creeper is caught by a blazing forest fire, what can says that creeper except for the appearance of a dark rain cloud? Purnamasi says, O Radha, you are the granddaughter of an elderly gopi. How is it that you aspire to attain Krishna, who is very difficult to attain, and whose feet are embraced by the goddess of fortune herself? Please listen to my words and pacify your mind. Do not become curious to grasp in your hands the moon which is moving in the sky. Radhika says, her voice choked up with emotion. Because of your insistence, I shall give up my love for Krishna, the conqueror of the Mura demon. Nevertheless, now that evening is beginning, my mind is very eager to hear some encouraging words from your mouth. Please grant me the benediction that in my next life I may become a bee on the garland of forest flowers. She hints that she is about to commit suicide because her love for Krishna is frustrated. Vishaka says, O noble Purnamasi, please protect Radha. Her eyes are wide open and her condition is very frightening. Purnamasi says, agitated, Alas, the snake of time, which brings great catastrophes, has forcibly intruded. She mercifully embraces Radha. O child, become calm. Please become calm. You are now agitated by the manifestation of great love. Please listen, and I will tell the truth to you. Desiring a brief glance of you, Lord Shiva, and the other unlimitedly powerful controllers of the universe perform severe austerities to achieve this end. Even Krishna has become thin because of his thirst to see you. O beautiful Radha, how can I glorify your indescribable good fortune? Lalita says, with the flute at his mouth, Krishna is now exclusively engaged in singing beautiful songs to glorify your pastimes. Making beautiful ornaments to decorate you with has become his exclusive activity. Your names have become more pleasing to him than all of the inhabitants of Vrindavana forest. O Radha, the enemy of Kamsa has made for you today a mandala of fragrant creepers. Radhika, becoming calm, she says to herself, O fickle mind, even now you do not believe this. Purnamasi says, Lalita, you are very bold. When Vishaka returns here from the base of the mango tree, accompanied by Mukunda, please conceal Radha from the other gopis in the previously arranged grove of Kanikara flowers. I must go and attend to my own duties now. The three exit. Vishaka, after walking a great distance, says, I can see Kamsa staying under that mango tree. Krishna, eagerly glancing behind, says, the brilliant sun, appearing as beautiful sphere of molten gold, has now set, entering the waters of the ocean. The darkness, appearing as a perfect cosmetic for the eyes of these many owls, has caused even the elephants to stumble and stray from their normal course. Anxiously looking at the path, how is that I still do not see that gopi friend? Turning around, he looks behind. Moonlight is very expert at disturbing the sleep of the pious gopis, who appear as beautiful as sleeping lotus flowers. That moonlight threatens to humiliate the lotus flowers and cause their beauty to fade. That moonlight is lamented by those whose lovers never arrive at the place of rendezvous. That beautiful and cooing moonlight is now decorating the eastern sky. Krishna says, perplexed, the moon has risen and still Radha's messenger has not arrived. Perhaps Radha considered her religious duties and restrained her desire to see me. Perhaps she was prevented by the harsh and critical objections of her superiors. Perhaps she has fainted in distress and she is now motionless. Vishaka says aside, Krishna is eagerly looking at the path, expecting my appearance. I shall joke with him for a moment. She turns her face down and becomes silent. Krishna says, oh my friend, why are you silent? Vishaka says, oh moon-faced boy, I am very unfortunate. Why should I speak? Krishna says apprehensively, why is this? Vishaka says, oh handsome boy, Saraswati, the goddess of eloquence, does not grace me with her appearance. Still, it is not proper for me to conceal what has transpired. O Prince of Braja, the wretched Abhimanyu has taken my dear friend Radha to Madhura. Her speech is interrupted by dry crying. Krishna says aloud, when was she taken to Madhura? Vishaka says, at the time when you met noble Purnamasi. Krishna, grief-stricken, says, oh Vishaka, why was she taken to Mathura? Vishaka says, it was suspected that she had fallen in love with you. Krishna says, how was it detected? Vishaka says, who would not be able to detect the appearance of that extraordinary love? Krishna says, the uncivilized breeze from the Malaya hills fatigues my body, and the moon appears to be scattering blazing particles of fiery dust with its moonlight. Wretched Cupid scolds me with the buzzing sound of the bumblebees. I am not able to live without Radha even for a moment. Krishna becomes bewildered. Vishaka says respectfully, O bliss of Gokula, please become peaceful. Become peaceful. I was simply playing a joke with you. Although Radha is greatly distressed, her life is protected by the delightful garland you gave her. Krishna says relieved, O rascal, you are teasing me. Vishaka says, you have forgotten your own nature. Krishna says, O friend, please describe the symptoms of my beloved Radha's love for me. Vishaka says, when Radha hears your name, even from a distance, her eyes become like red Madira flowers, and she calls out and trembles as if she had become intoxicated. Oh, what more can I say? When by chance she sees a dark rain cloud, she remembers you, and her mind becomes very eager to embrace your two shoulders. Krishna says, let's go quickly to her. Indeed, I can almost see my beloved. They begin to walk. Radha says, grief-stricken, perhaps some obstacle has prevented my friend from going to Krishna. Perhaps Hari did not believe her appeal. Alas, perhaps cruel fate has become my enemy. Perhaps these are the reasons why I cannot perceive, even in the distance, the fragrance of his forest garland. Vishaka says, as they come within the sight of Radha, O Krishna, this girl bowing her head is constantly gazing at this path shaded by trees. At one moment she rises from her seat and then again she sits down bewildered. She takes three steps, glances at Lalita and again turns around. Just see how she has become devastated by an overwhelming desire to associate with you. Krishna says, Radha is so beautiful that the luster of her face has eclipsed the moonrise. Her smile is as sweet as a multitude of red lotus flowers, and the splendor of her fingernails and toenails has conquered the loveliness of the stars. Her eyes are as beautiful as the eyes of deer, and she makes the charming dusk appear as insignificant as a blade of grass. Radhika says, dejected, why did he reject me so cruelly? Although he is independent, is he controlled by the fragrance and side glances of other affectionate gopis? Although the world is being engulfed in moonlight, still the son of Nanda has not yet reached the cottage of creepers. Krishna, approaching Radha, says, because of the excellent mercy of Purnamasi, this girl, as beautiful as moonlight, is now delighting me. Radhika says, full of wonder, she says to herself, this person who is the bestower of all good fortune, he has now arrived. She loses composure. Vishaka says, the fortunate gopis delight the killer of the Madhu demon with their pastimes and novel jokes. Although I am such a fortunate gopi, my good fortune is insignificant because in my presence, my dear friend Radha has become stunned and is rolling on the ground in ecstatic love. Lalita says, this handsome young man who enchants the swan of your mind is now standing before you. Oh, Radha, do not become overwhelmed with fear. At this moment, courage will help you to fulfill your desires. She drags Radha forcefully to Krishna. O cheater, the swan of my friend Radha's mind saw you from a great distance and began to tremble, overcome by thirst. In that condition, the swan dived into the lotus flower of your face and was trapped by the network of your restless eyebrows. Is this right, therefore, that you act in this contrary way towards us? Krishna says, persons of my caliber do not take advantage of weak young women. Vishaka says, oh pious boy, this is true, this is true. The Kadamba tree at Gauri-tirtha, where Krishna stole the gopis' clothes, is a witness to the truth of this. Krishna says, oh friend Lalita, what will make you believe that I am faultless? Lalita says, if we skillfully subject you to a trial by ordeal, we may believe you. Krishna says, oh crooked girl, put me on trial as you like. The brilliant effulgence of my good reputation can never become stained with disgrace. Lalita says, in between Radha's golden pitcher-like raised breast, there is a young female black snake who is Radha's intimate follower. The fine line of hair extending from her navel. If you can place your hand onto the great jewel which decorates the serpent's head and remain unhurt, the moon of your honorable reputation will shine without any taint of disgrace. Krishna, pretending to be afraid, oh cruel girl, you are named Lalita, playful, very appropriately. In this matter of a very insignificant offense, you have prescribed a very severe trial by ordeal, where the accused person places his hand in a pitcher containing a poisonous snake. Radhika says, affectionately angry, oh Lalita, stop. Knitting her eyebrows, Radha glances at Lalita. Lalita says, why does Radha criticize me? I am just seeing if he has been completely corrupted or not. Vishaka says, oh Lalita, I know the intention in Radha's heart. Lalita says, please tell me, I shall listen. Vishaka says, Krishna has already touched so many serpents and he has remained unhurt. He touched the serpent Agha, whose form reached up to the clouds. And he also touched Kaliya, who was very proud, angry and hostile, and who belched forth flames. Krishna also touched the serpent who was swallowing Nanda Maharaj. That serpent later became transformed into a celestial demigod. Krishna appears to be the guru of the serpents. How will your trial by the ordeal of touching a serpent have any effect on him? Lalita laughs and says, oh Radha, you do not understand the glorious position of your follower. Look at this. Oh friend, your Romavali in the form of a female serpent is able to bewilder the crest jewel of Garuda, whose own shrill cries remove the pride of all the serpent's wives. Radhika says, affectionately angry, oh bold Lalita, first you bring me here and then you mock me. I shall go to Vrindavana and tell the elderly gopis about your activities. Lalita says, oh bewildered Radha, first determine whether my activities are actually pious or dishonest, and then you may go. Krishna says, oh cruel Lalita, because you will not give up this wicked idea, I accept this trial by ordeal. He approaches Radha. Lalita, observing Krishna, says, oh clever one, stop. I understand, I understand. At the beginning of this trial, you have become frightened and your agitated hands are trembling. Indeed, your whole body is shaking, and the hairs of your body are standing upright like peacock feathers. Therefore, it has been revealed that you are the sovereign emperor of rascal thieves. Lalita says, "O clever boy, you admitted with your own mouth." Krishna says, "O friend, because of affection for me, please tell me how I may become free from my offense." Lalita says, "Please enter amidst the great and pure liberated souls who have climbed the mountain of perfection in yoga in a solitary place. Trembling, beg shelter from them. These magnanimous souls will accept even a greatly sinful person because they are full of saintly qualities." Alternate translation. "Please become the central jewel on the necklace of splendid pearls which decorate the solitary slopes of Sri Radha's breast. Please enter amidst these pearls and beg for shelter. These saintly pearls will certainly accept you. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose arms are broad." Krishna says, "O friend, your instruction is excellent." Blissful, he approaches Radha and places his hand upon her. Radhika says with a faltering voice, "O handsome one, it is not proper for you to do this." She repels Krishna's hand and then disappears into the trees. Krishna says, at Radha's departure, Krishna becomes alarmed and says, "O friends, where has your friend Radha gone?" Lalita and Vishakha, they say, "O charming boy, when we find her, we will certainly tell you." They approach Radha from behind. "O Radha, now you have an opportunity to joke with this playful Krishna. For a moment, please conceal your real emotions." Radhika says, cunningly moving her eyebrows, "O Lalita, how can you advise me to joke with him? This bold and reckless deed is very improper for me. I should leave." Lalita says, approaching Krishna, "O moon-faced boy, our dear friend wishes to say something to you, but she has become afraid." Krishna says, "O friend, there is no need to be afraid of someone who is submissive and obedient. Radha may order me as she likes." Lalita says, "My perplexed mind is greatly inundated by waves of fear and my hands are trembling. My throat has become choked up. My head is spinning and my limbs perspire. O Lord of Vrindavana, I am not able to do very great and powerful deeds. You have come at night from a great distance to this rendezvous. Please forgive my offense." Krishna says aside, "I cannot understand whether she is joking or whether she speaks in this way out of religious duty." Radhika says, partly visible, "O friend, quickly send him away. No one should see me." Krishna unhappily says to himself, "The love of young girls is very flickering. What is not possible for them?" Openly he says, "O Radha, with ardent love you invited me to this secret rendezvous. Is it proper that my purposes remain unfulfilled in this way? It is natural that I am attracted to you, just as iron is attracted to the magnet. I just slightly touched you. Why have you hidden nearby?" Lalita says, "O Gokulananda, why do you criticize Radha when you should criticize your own sinful deed? Although there is great mutual affection between you and Radha, this foolish and uncivilized act stands as a great obstacle between the two of you." Krishna says, "Look, look, O friend, those full of great love abandon even the rules of morality in order to approach their beloved. Tara, the wife of Brihaspati, who is the spiritual master of Indra, kissed Chandra, the deity of the moon." Alternate translation. "Those full of great love abandon even the objects of material attachment in order to approach the path of devotional service. Therefore, if the wife of a very powerful or opulent husband has attained the exalted stage of love of God, she is able to affectionately kiss the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu." Lalita says, "Who indeed is prevailing in your replies back and forth? Therefore, Radha, you should go back to your husband, away from this person who is defeating you." Radhika, deliberately approaching Lalita, says, Oh Lalita, I shall tell you something and then return. Looking at Lalita, my chastity resounds in the mouths of all the beautiful gopis. My family is free from defamation and my husband is opulent and handsome. Nevertheless, by the playful moving of Krishna's eyebrows, Cupid conquered my pride with his bow. Now this vain introduction is causing my heart to be overcome with fear. Krishna glancing at Radha, he sighs and says to himself, Radha's moving sidelong glances have darkened the color of her diamond earrings, which now have the luster of emeralds. Her eyebrows are very beautiful, and a smile shines within her words. O mind, do not become dejected. I think that perhaps Radha's aversion to me is an artificial device inspired by her friends. Lalita, she sees Krishna's face and whispers to Vishakha, Oh Vishakha, he understands my intentions. He has uncovered our secret. Vishakha says, Yes, it is true. Krishna smiles and says, Oh Lalita, Radha, who is expert at deception, is uselessly trying to trick me. Trying to trick me in this way is like trying to capture a maddened elephant with a spider's web. Vishakha says, Oh friend Radha, your teasing is now useless. You should now immediately fulfill the desires of your beloved. Krishna with great love says, My 2 ears have become deafened by the calling of the cuckoo. Please assure them with gentle and eloquent words of praise. My limbs are burning with the fire of intense love. O beautiful Radha, please fearlessly cool those burning limbs with your embrace. Vishakha says, O handsome one, the goddess of bashfulness had become before us in the form of Radha. In front of her I shall offer words of praise. For that length of time, please remain very cool, calm and gentle in her presence. Krishna respectfully says, O friend, by nature I am very cool and calm. I shall now become like a garland of blue lotus flowers at the new golden pitcher, like breast of Radha. He slowly approaches Radha. Radhika, shrinking away, says, Oh Vishakha, why have you abandoned me? I am frightened. Lalita says, Oh Radha, how can Vishakha conceal and protect you? This garland of lotus flowers is surely competent to protect you because we see that it has attracted many bumblebees. Wear it and it will protect you. Vishakha means without hands. So Lalita says that because Vishakha is handless, she cannot protect Radha. Radhika affectionately angry and says, Oh harshly speaking Lalita, although your desires are all fulfilled, you still do not go away. Vishakha says, O Radha, Kanha has consecrated himself to perform the Vedic ritual of giving fearlessness to all the residents of Gokula. Why are you afraid of him? Krishna says, O beautiful Radha, you are certainly much stronger than I. Why are you afraid of me? Assuming the form of the creepers, which are your eyebrows, Kaliya, the king of serpents, surrounds me with his crooked looks. Assuming the form of the sharp corners of your eyes, the demon Dhenuka chastises me. The demon Pralamba, assuming the form of your long braided hair, has violently robbed away my strength. Although I had formerly defeated these demons, now that they have taken shelter of you, they have conquered me. Lalita says, O Kanha, from where has Radha received her superior strength? No one is able to take these transcendental opulences away from you. Vishakha says, O friend Radha, the enemy of Kamsa, is very affectionate to his many swan-like devotees. But for some reason, you will not release the king of swans, your mind. Therefore, you should immediately cast off these bonds by the pastimes of embracing. O deceitful and beautiful faced girl, one cannot attain one's desired tranquility through dishonesty. Radhika says, O sinful Vishakha, you have become corrupted by the breezes wafted from the poisonous creeper who is Lalita. Krishna says, O friend Lalita, how is it that even now Radha will not let me become immersed in the nectar of her mercy? She forces me to stand on the shore of that mercy ocean. Lalita says, O Kana, give up your cleverness. One cannot attain the mercy of our dear friend Radha immediately. simply by asking for it, as you can with Chandravali. Krishna says, how can one attain your friend's mercy? Lalita says, by constant service. Krishna, joyfully glancing at Radha, says, "O Radha, shall I draw pictures with sandalwood paste upon your breasts? Or shall I decorate your braided hair with a crown of flowers? Or shall I use my hand to massage your extremely beautiful limbs, which are so greatly afflicted by Cupid?" Adhika playfully shrinks from Lalita and pointing her finger scolds her. "O crooked rascal, you shall remember this. I shall release myself from your hands and go home." Lalita, pulling the corner of Radha's sari, says, "Oh friend Radha, don't go home. I am determined to stop you with my own hand. Oh deaf girl, how is it that you keep gold tied within the knot at the corner of your sari?" Radhika says, "Let go of the border of my sari, let go. When I leave this place, I shall inform the pious Mukhara of all these activities." Mukhara, calling from off stage, "Oh granddaughter Lalita, where is your dear friend Radha?" Lalita says, "Oh, here come the pious Mukhara." Krishna, alarmed, says, "I shall go far away." He goes far away. Mukhara, glancing ahead, she says to herself, "Something which happens to be a dark blue emerald column is attracting my eyes from a great distance. This column has such an extraordinary sweet fragrance. It must certainly be Krishna." Krishna says, "O pious woman, half spoken." Mukhara, with pretended harshness, "Who said that?" Krishna says, "O pious Mukhara, may you become happy." Mukhara says, "O charming boy, how can I become happy as long as your flute is not silent?" Krishna says, "O pious woman, how has my flute offended you?" Mukhara says, "You should ask the young girls of Gokula, who, although prohibited by their superiors, nevertheless run into the forest time after time whenever they hear the sound of your flute." Krishna says, "You are very appropriately named Mukhara, talkative." Mukhara says, "O charming boy, by entering here in the dark of night, you frightened me." Krishna says, "You are needlessly afraid. Purnamasi told me that a very amazing deer is roaming here in this courtyard. That is why I came." Mukhara says, "O handsome boy, in the morning you shall see this deer. Now you should go home." Krishna says, "Old woman, you are as hard as a ram's horn. But I trust you what you say. I shall go now." He disappears into the darkness. Kara says, "Oh Lalita, has Kanha actually gone?" Lalita says, "He certainly has." Krishna says aside, "This old woman is very agitated. I shall become silent and tug at the corner of Radha's sari." Mukhara, her eyes wide open with anger, says, "Impudent Lalita, in my presence Kanha, wearing a yellow dhoti, is tugging at the border of Radha's sari. Why are you trying to deceive me?" Krishna becomes a little frightened and retreats. Lalita says aside, "I shall trick this old woman who cannot see clearly at night." Angrily speaking out, she says, "Old Mukhara, you cannot see clearly, but without any reason you have become afraid. This is a dark tamala tree growing here on the shore of the Yamuna river. A golden bench is situated at the base of this tree, and the branches of the tree are moving in the wind. It is these tree branches which are shaking the garments covering the breasts of my friend Radha." Mukhara, staying aside, she is not speaking a lie openly. "Oh child, I have become very agitated. I shall go home. I shall go home and go to sleep." She exits. Vishaka says, "Oh Radha, Kanha's face is covered with perspiration. Please wipe away that perspiration with the border of your sari." Radhika, knitting her eyebrows, and says, "Oh Vishaka, since childhood you have taken a vow to do these things. You should do it." Vishaka says, "Oh Radha, the delighted garland which decorates your neck is speaking the following words. Do not become angry. You also may be initiated into the performance of this vow. Krishna says, glancing at the delightful garland, Krishna praises it. O Radha, your eyes are as charming and restless as Kanjana birds. I think that I think that these delightful flowers must have performed many pious deeds for a long time at the best of holy places, because they have achieved the happiness of association of your breast, a position so difficult for me to achieve. Radhika says, O Vishakha, please remove this withered garland from my neck. The priceless necklace of ganja obtained by you was forcibly taken from my neck. I now want it back. Vishakha says, O Gokulananda, my dear friend Radha is very angry with me. She wants this ganja necklace which was taken from her. Krishna says, I shall give it to her. Thus he approaches smilingly and gives her the garland. Radha says aside, on the pretext of offering me the garland, Krishna has touched the border of the cloth covering my breast. She refrains from knitting her eyebrows. Vishakha says, O Radha, have you attained your desire? Indeed you have. Radhika, biting her bimba fruit lips, and says, O impudent girl, stop, stop. She strikes Vishakha with a lotus flower. Vishakha laughing and says, O bold Radha, don't become angry. I bestowed upon you the necklace. Krishna says, what austerity may I perform to be struck by your lotus flower? Please strike me, even if only with the rowing corners of your lotus eyes. Lalita says, now that you have offered your body to Lord Hari, how is it that you have become a miser and will not even look at him? If one gives a valuable chintamani jewel, it is not proper for the donor to withhold the case which carries the jewel. Radhika says, O Lalita, please do not offend my superiors by talking in this way. Vishakha says, O friend, why are you afraid? Purnamasi can expertly propitiate your superiors. Lalita, joyful, and says aside, by her good fortune, my dear friend is now embracing Kantha with the waves of her smiling sidelong glance. Vishakha says, O Lalita, look, look, the moon beautifies the sky, and the effulgence beautifies the moon. O beautiful facial Lalita, the forest of Vrindavana enhances the moonlight. Lord Hari beautifies the forest of Vrindavana, and your friend Radha beautifies Lord Hari. The abode of pure love of God decorates your friend Radha with its splendor. Lalita says, Alas, alas, O Vishakha, look, the Chandrakanta jewels are melting. They are washing away the decoration of sandalwood paste on the altar for the worship of the sun god. Come, let's go there. We will lead the way throughout the flower garden. Krishna says, Oh dear Radha, do not leave me. He clutches the edge of her sari. Radhika says, let me go, my friends are calling me. Krishna says, Oh cruel girl, do not lie to me. Radhika smiling and says, O Goddess Saraswati, I offer obeisances unto you. You will certainly testify to my truthfulness. Krishna says, gently laughing, you are as splendid as a lotus flower, and this black bumblebee of Krishna worships the great flood of the sweet fragrance of your super excellent prema, which has come to him from a great distance. That agitated, humming bumblebee is moving from here to there in the flood of that fragrance, aspiring to taste the sweet nectar of the lotus flower of your mouth. Furthermore, after having observed how the pearls on your necklace have attained the liberation of residence on your breast, I desire to attain a tiny particle of that same contact. After having left my affectionate friends and come here alone to enjoy your company, this harshness of yours is unfair. O beautiful slender girl, please give up these injustices and satisfy me with drops of nectar and a festival of intimate union. Radha becomes embarrassed and says, Oh beloved, look, as a small child, the moon was nourished by drinking the nectar of the ocean, lord of the waters. That moon now appears as a pitcher of cooling medicine, which removes the fever of the multitude of lotus flowers. Appearing as the chief priest for chanting mantras in the sacrifice performed by the Chakravaka birds, that moon is not purifying and beautifying the area near the bank of the Yamuna river. The round moon is now decorated with all the beauty of springtime, and the light of that moon is now kissing the pavilion in the grove. Let's go there. They exit. Act 4. Nandimukhi says, Lalita has spoken to me the following words. O friend Nandimukhi, when the cows enter the cow pens, then Kanha quickly goes near Govardhana hill. Please go there and tell Subala to remind his friend Kanha about Radha. She begins to walk. Why is Padma coming here? Padma says, Oh Nandimukhi, you are very expert. Please tell me some remedy by which I may be relieved the agitated Chandravali. Nandamukhi says, What is the cause of her agitation? Padma says, You must certainly know. It is Kanha, who delights and charms the entire community of Gokula every evening with his pastimes. Nandamukhi says, Yes, this is true. Padma says, At the present time, not even the fragrance of Kanha can be found in the southern part of Vrindavana. Nandamukhi says, Don't become unhappy. I have seen Aibya, her forehead, decorated with pictures drawn in mineral pigments. And I have seen Shama, her hair, as beautiful as a chamara whisk, decorated with garland of forest flowers. I have also seen Bhadra, appearing very beautiful, her shoulders decorated with a garland of ganja. I have seen them in the company of the spiritual master of gopis, who is right now the guest of Govardhana hill. When the offstage says, The companion of the son of Nanda, the flute, is the original residence of the waves of all wonderful music in the universes. Placing that flute in his left hand with love, his eyes full of bliss, he is slowly wandering, searching for a suitable cave on the summit of Govardhana hill. Nandamukhi says, Oh Padma, please delight Chandravali with this news, and I shall go to Subala. She exits. Padma looking again and says, Vrinda Devi, who is following us, understands the intentions of this formidable noble woman. She will use a trick to try to hinder Chandravali. Vrinda after says, Why do you, just like Radha, desire to passionately embrace him, whose intimate association is so difficult to attain? O bewildered girl, do not listen to the words of this proud old woman. Do not go outside. Lord Hari, agitating the beautiful gopis of Braja with the luster of the kanas of his amorous eyes, and stealing away the rubies, which are the gopis' minds, is now arriving. Indravani enters, looking anxiously in all directions. How is it that Vrunda is speaking a lie? Where is Kanha? Thus she laments. Padma approaches Chandravali and says, Why do you not drive this terrible blazing forest fire from within your heart? Why do you pollute the bimba fruits which are your lips with these deep sighs? O fortunate and beautiful friend, accompanied by the cries of the peacocks, the lord of the Yadu dynasty is now resounding in the forest near Govardhana hill, near our village of Sakhisthala. Chandravali glances at Padma and says, Is this my dear friend Padma? Deeply embraces Padma. I hope that what you have said is true. Padma says, Yes, it is true. Krishna, accompanied by Subala, he enters. Look, the dimly shining sun is now setting in the peaks of the western mountains. The beginning of the evening, with its faint yawning of darkness, is now delighting us. Subala says, Oh friend, if because of your desire to perform pastimes you neglect to milk the cows, what will you gain? Krishna says, Oh friend, someone described the peacocks to me and thus reminded me of my beloved Chandravali. I am now very eager to see her. Subala says, What was the description of the peacocks? Krishna says, This person said to me, Just see the extended tail feathers of this agitated peacock who is furiously dancing for such a long time. The beauty of those feathers chastises the splendor of Lord Indra's rainbow, and the eyes in those feathers seem like a multitude of moving dark moons, Chandravali. By hearing this, I was reminded of Chandravali. Subala says, please play some charming music on your flute. Krishna places the flute to his mouth. Chandravali says, hearing the sound of the flute, she becomes agitated. This rascal flute performs unprecedented pastimes. It is very amazing to hear. Krishna says, oh friend Subal, today we should try to please Chandravali. Bala says, yes. Padma says, look, the son of the king of Gokula is hastening towards you and calling to you with his flute. Chandravali looking at the flute and says, my dear friend, the flute, you are actually full of many holes of faults. You are light, hard, useless, and full of knots. But what kind of pious activities have engaged you in the service of being kissed by the Lord and embraced by his hands? Krishna jubilantly looking ahead and says, oh friend, here is Chandravali, the moon whose splendor causes the lotus flowers of my eyes to blossom. O beloved, the circle of your face appears like the moon. Your fingernails and toenails are also moons, and your forehead appears like the new crescent moon. Therefore, you are very appropriately named Chandravali, the possessor of many moons. She becomes bashful. O beloved, because I have become absorbed in killing many wicked demons, I was unable to see your moon-like face, and thus I pass my nights very miserably. Because of your presence, I have become free from that great suffering. Chandravali says, O handsome one, you are just like the bumblebee who is always seeking new companions. How is it that you wish to enjoy among these gopis who are like withered lotus flowers due to separation from you? Krishna says, O dear Chandravali, you appear newer and fresher at every moment. Please cool the burning fire of separation from you with the nectar of your embrace. Padma says, how is it that you are burning with distress simply because of the separation of my dear friend Chandravali? Subala says, don't speak in this way. My friend is staring at Chandravali just like a thirsty chakora bird gazes at a cooling water-laden cloud. Krishna says, Oh beloved, please listen. During our separation, when I was in the forest, there was only one thing to relieve my distress. That thing was full of nectar, cooling to the touch and very sweet. That thing was Radha, bewildered. I mean Dhara. Dhara means a stream of water. Chandravali, with jealous anger, says, then go serve Radha. Krishna says, oh beloved, I said water, not Radha. Chandravali says, then why did my ears hear something else? Krishna says, oh beloved, your ears did not properly hear what I said. Chandravali turns her head down, reddened with anger, and says, oh generous one, what is the need of this pretense? Today the captivating gold earrings, which are the two syllables of Radha's name, have been placed upon my ears and filled them with nectar. Krishna says, oh Chandravali, your eyes are as beautiful as those of a frightened deer. Your words are very appropriate. Your golden earrings are certainly beautifying your ears. However, the nectar-like liquid gold coming from your moon-like face and mouth is now agitating my eyes and ears. Padma says, oh friend, do not meditate upon your misfortune and become morose. One who is enamored by Radha will naturally speak the name Radha. Chandravali sighs and says, oh friend Padma, this is true. Krishna says, oh beloved, there is no cause for you to be suspicious, because the moon's beloved star Radha, which is manifest only during one portion of the moon's phase, shines in the sky. How would it be possible for me to meet this star on the ground? Padma says, you are expert in the 64 arts. It is not at all difficult for you to attain this thought, the favorite of the moon. Krishna, with humbleness, glances at Padma and says, "O Padma, your eyes are like blossoming lotus flowers. When I see the two moon-like cheeks on the lotus flower of Chandravali's face polluted with this false logic, I become greatly frightened, and my heart becomes full of plaintive words. In this condition, I cannot become happy." Krishna, with feigned mercifulness, says, "O Lord, you are the very life of the inhabitants of Goloka. What bewildered gopi would be able to control her intelligence after approaching your auspiciousness and transcendental qualities? Therefore, do not become frightened and needlessly shrink away from me." Krishna says aside. With a sweet expression upon her face, Chandravali hides her symptoms of severe anger. Openly he says, "Oh beloved, this spitting of intensely poisonous words is all useless. These words of anger are actually the sweetest nectar." Chandravali says, "O Gokulananda, I am not able to show my face before you because I spoke very arrogantly and offended you. I shall now go home." Krishna appealingly says, "O beloved, be kind to me, be kind to me. I am folding my hands." Chandravali says, "O fortunate one, I am speaking in a very straightforward way. Why do you suspect that I am speaking untruthfully? Please give me permission to see the deity of Bhadrakali." Chandravali and Padma exit. Krishna says, "O friend, the many moons which are Chandravali are very splendid. Those moons are now eclipsed by the many stronger Rahu planets, and I can no longer see them." Subala says, "O friend, why are you speaking in this way? Chandravali is simply girl." Krishna says, "O friend, the nature of great souls is very difficult to understand. Although Chandravali is very respectful to me, her words are full of waves, which are her humble prayers, and the corners of her eyes are full of sincere honest. She has nevertheless cleverly hidden her anger within her heart. O handsome Subala, let us go to the grove of poplar trees, and there I shall again meet Chandravali." They walk. "O friend, this grove of poplar trees is very charming. Look, look, on the right there is a glittering lake. On the left a pond, and rivulets in every direction. This forest of poplar trees, full of streams and lakes, is greatly delighting us." The word niradhika means abundance of water, but it also can mean without Radha. Subala aside says, "My opportunity has now arrived." Openly he says, "O friend, if Radha were present, this place would delight you. Why do you say that it would delight you without Radha?" He takes the second meaning. Krishna embraces Subala and says, "O friend, you speak the truth. Radha's presence would certainly increase the beauty of this grove of poplar trees. Please tell this to Lalita." Subala says, "Yes, I shall." He exits. Padma and Madhumangala enter. Madhumangala says, "O Padma, I have heard that Chandravali became unsatisfied even though my friend tried to placate her with sweet words." Padma says, "Yes, this is true." Madhumangala says, "Because of this, my friend has become dejected." Excuse me. "It would be very fitting if we could arrange to reunite them." Padma says, "Oh, pious boy, I shall certainly allow you to do this." Madhumangala looking ahead and says, "Oh Padma, look, my dear friend is speaking to a bumblebee in this grove of poplar trees." Padma says, "Oh noble boy, let us hide in this network of creepers and listen to what he says." Krishna, remembering Radha, Krishna becomes agitated and says, "When my beloved moves the arch of her eyebrows Cupid loosens his bow of flowers. My beloved is like a treasure chest full of enchanting jewels. May she become an ornament for me. Madhumangala says, Oh Padma, he is speaking about your dear friend Chandravali. He longs for her. Let's go and bring her here. Padma says, Oh noble boy, we have clearly heard his words. He is full of love for her. Krishna with longing says, The beauty of her face defeats the splendor of the full moon. Her waist is adorned with a vali, a slight fold of skin on the upper portion of the belly. This verse can also mean her face defeats the splendor of the full moonlight. Chandravali shines in the middle. He stops midway. Madhumangala says, Oh Padma, there is no need to continue listening. Let us quickly go. Padma says, You speak well. They quickly walk far away. Krishna says, When will I place beautiful Radha upon my chest? Padma says, Oh pious boy, I say this. My dear friend Chandravali is very proud. If she meets Krishna, she may treat him with disrespect. Please go to Krishna and tell him this. Madhumangala says, You have spoken well. He returns and approaches Krishna. Oh dear friend, by eavesdropping I was able to hear all the words you spoke describing your longing to be with your beloved. Please order me and I shall quickly bring your beloved here. Krishna, with praise, he embraces Madhumangala and says, Oh friend, I give my blessings to you. Please quickly bring her. Madhumangala and Padma exit. Krishna says, What is the cause of this great anxiety of love? When a bumblebee hums in the grove, my mind thinks it hears the sound of my beloved's jeweled ankle bells. When the grass moves in the wind, my mind thinks that my beloved must have arrived. Accompanied by Padma and Madhumangala, Chandravali enters. Chandravali says, Oh Padma, is this a grove of poplar trees that I see? Padma, yes. Let's quickly go there. Krishna says, Hears the tinkling of the ankle bells. He says, Oh, I am greatly bewildered by this buzzing of the bumblebees. I should not become bewildered and foolishly think that my beloved is arriving. He becomes agitated. When there is some hope to attain one's aspiration, a person becomes easily deceived. Just as a chataka bird cries twice as much when the clouds arrive, hoping the rain will come. Krishna becomes very attentive. How is it that I hear the tinkling of ankle bells nearby? Craning his neck with expectation, he becomes agitated. My beloved has actually arrived. He rushes to Chandravali's side. The bumblebee of my heart is moved by the auspicious, radiant, fully blossomed creeper of Radhika. He stops abruptly. This verse may also mean the bumblebee of my heart is moved by the fully blossomed creeper. You have an abundance of radiant auspiciousness. Chandravali glances angrily at Madhumangala. She takes it in the first sense. Madhumangala, glancing at Chandravali, says, Oh friend Chandravali, my dear friend, describing your abundant auspicious qualities. He takes the second meaning. Krishna says, embarrassed at the awkward situation, he says to himself, why has he brought Chandravali? I shall remedy the situation by flattering her. My friend has awakened Chandravali's love for me, and she has quickly come here. Bashful, Chandravali places a Vaijayanti garland on Krishna's neck. Krishna is jubilant and says, the many desires of the multitude of Chakwara birds become fulfilled when they serve the single moon. O beloved, you are as beautiful as many moons. It is not very amazing, therefore, that you delight the two Chakwara birds of my eyes, which are engaged in your service. Madhumangala says proud, Oh friend, now you have seen how clever I am. Although you possess the unlimited number of transcendental qualities, You are not able to become free from your offense to your dear friend Chandravali. I have now released you from that offense. Krishna says, O friend, in relation to the pastimes of Cupid, who wields an extraordinary bow of flowers, you are very expert at the political maneuvers of making peace and making war. Padma, speaking to Mangala, says, O pious boy, there are some blossoming malli flowers. Let's go and pick them. Padma and Madhumangala exit. Krishna says aside, I do not think that Radha has come to this forest. I shall go somewhere else. Openly he says, O beloved, not very far from this place is a grove of fragrant Nagakesara flowers. That place is as big and splendid as a city arena. Therefore, let's go there. Krishna and Chandravali exit. Talking to Lalita, Radha enters. Radha says, Friend, look, all the directions are covered by a terrible darkness. Lalita says, Oh dear friend, why have you decorated yourself with these dark ornaments which are suitable for a secret rendezvous in the middle of the night? Radha says, Yes, it is so. Lalita, smiling, she glances at Radha and says, You have placed a necklace of sapphires upon your braided hair. A garland of blue lotus flowers decorates your breast. Your eyes are decorated with black cosmetics and musk. Oh friend, I think that you have become greatly agitated with the desire to have a secret rendezvous with the enemy of Kamsa. And in this condition, you have forgotten the entire world. Radha says, Give up this joking. Quickly show me the path to the grove of Nagakesara trees. Lalita says, Oh dear friend, here it is. Lalita timidly walks. Oh friend, covered with the dark cosmetic of night, your beautiful limbs move through the forests of Kadamba trees. Although you desire a secret rendezvous with the enemy of Mura demon, your limbs, as splendid as bolts of lightning, pierce the great darkness, O Radha. By thwarting your own desire for secrecy, you have become your own enemy. Radha says, Stop these harsh words. Look, we are very near the grove of poplar trees. The fragrance of Murari does not madden my nose, and the effulgence of his fingernails and toenails does not illuminate this forest. Oh dear friend, I suspect that your friend Krishna desires to play a joke upon us, and he is hiding in some secret place covered by creepers. Lalita says, Oh friend, come here. I see a grove of Kadamba trees on our left. Radha goes to Lalita and says, Oh clever boy, I see you. Why do you cover yourself with your hands? She searches in all directions. Lalita says, Oh friend, give up this searching. Come, let us decorate Keli Kunja. Radha says, Oh lotus-eyed friend, please decorate the entrance to Keli Kunja with bakula flowers. Place a goblet of madhrika nectar near the couch and decorate the couch with lotus flowers. Please do this and Lord Hari will surely praise you for your skill. Lalita decorates the place in that way and says, Just see, Kanha is late. Let us enter the grove and wait for him. Radha, agitated, walks about and says, I think that Hari has been stopped somewhere by Padma, who is devoted to pleasing her friend Chandravali. For this reason, even though we have come to this cottage in the grove, he has not come here to meet us. Alas, the moon is now rising and delighting the eastern direction, which is presided over by the husband of Sechi Indra. That moon is the enemy of beautiful girls who desire a secret rendezvous with their lovers. They exit, Krishna enters. Krishna looking in all directions and says, The bumblebees are no longer enthused. The bumblebees are no longer enthused to move among the lotus flowers, and the owls are looking for the trees where their nests are kept. The light of the pole star is gradually fading. Is the sun now eager to rise on eastern mountains? I do not know if Radha will be greatly angry and disappointed because I have arrived so late. Yes, I shall go to the Grove Nagara Kshetra. Yes, I shall go to the Grove Nagakesara trees and pick flowers. He picks flowers and goes on. Radha will certainly say to her friend, "Oh friend, even now the cheating Madhava has not come. How will she able to pass the night in such great distress?" Walking on, Krishna sees the grove of buckler trees and laments. Radha has thrown away the mixture of betel nuts and camphor, and she has discarded her charming necklace of emeralds. With her fingernails, she has ripped apart the fragrant crown of flowers. In this way, the grove proclaims Radha's great distress. Walking ahead, this is the altar where Radha worships the sun god. I shall go near to it. Accompanied by Lalita and Vishakha, Radha enters. Radha looking ahead and says, "Oh Lalita, look, your handsome young man is standing near the altar." Lalita says, "Oh friend, become like a golden deity." Krishna says, "Here is my beloved accompanied by her friends. I shall go to speak to them." He approaches them. "Oh Lalita, well done, well done. Now I can see how you are an expert teacher in the matter of giving bad advice. At this altar in the forest, you have now initiated me in the vow of staying awake all night. In the vow of staying away all night." Lalita says, "Oh, what treachery! You did not arrive until the rooster crowed. Resting on a couch of newly blossomed flowers, my friend waited for you. In your absence, she considered a moment to be a kalpa." Krishna, with a faint arrogance, and says, "Ah, she is expected deception." He points to the buckle of flowers. "Tonight, seeing my grief, this buckler tree also became unhappy. The flowers of this tree continually drip honey, as if they were eyes continually shedding tears." Lalita says, "Ah, he is deceptively clever. He uses the word kesara, which can mean either the inner part of buckle of flowers or the Nagakesara flowers." Krishna, pretending to be disgusted, says, "Oh Lalita, please stop this clever playing with words. It is not you who are at fault, but I who desire to befriend such golden complexioned gopis who are so eager to find faults with me." Note: Drushtadoshabhi can be interpreted to mean one who finds fault with others or who is himself full of fault. Vishakha says, "What fault do you see in the gopis?" She took the second meaning. Krishna says, "Look, look, full of fresh nectarian water, a charming dark cloud has appeared to alleviate the burning heat of the earth. Golden flashes of lightning appear in that cloud for a brief moment only." Alternate translation. Full of the nectarian mellow of conjugal love, the charming dark cloud of Krishna has appeared to alleviate the burning distress of the earth. The golden flashes of lightning, which are the gopis, stay in that cloud for a brief moment only. Vishakha says, "It is proper for the delicate gopis to act in that way. Krishna is as harsh as a thunderbolt." Lalita says, "Oh Vishakha, please hear a certain song." Pointing to a bee, she sings, "After having abandoned this champak creeper full of yellow flowers, which are as splendid as fresh gold, this black bee is moving restlessly as if it were a dark streak of lightning." Alternate translation. It seems like a fickle paramount of dark complexion has run away. After having abandoned this flower-like fair complexion girl who is just like a champak creeper and whose beauty is enchanted by the whose beauty is enchanted by her deep love. Krishna smiles and says, "You are certainly the queen of all those who speak eloquently." Lalita says, "Because you are speaking so proudly and fearlessly, I do not think that you are free from fault." Krishna says, There is a very truthful common saying that youthful girls with crooked eyebrows cannot give up their contrariness. Hearing your eloquent words has not depressed me. On the contrary, now I, who have no superior in eloquent speech, have been conquered. Lalita, concealing her actual intentions, and says, be merciful to Kanha. In truth, he is depressed because he has stayed awake all night. Radha glances at him from the corners of her eyes and says, you are expert in the art of cheating the foolish. Krishna, blissful, and says, these blossomed kesara flowers shall decorate your braided hair. Please do not let my efforts go in vain. He opens the package of flowers. Oh beloved, look. Oh beloved, look at these kesara flowers, the best of all fragrant things. I have now become aromatic just by holding them. Radha, with a joking smile, says, you have become aromatic because of the sweet scent of Chandravali. Krishna says, oh beloved, your joking words do not offend me. At this very moment, the sweet scent of Chandravali is indeed emanating from my body. Radha, angrily turning away, and says, oh Lalita, did you hear that? Krishna, smiling, and says, oh beloved, why have you become so agitated just because of those syllables which also mean something else? By saying Chandravali, I meant an abundance of camphor. Radha, smiling, and says, give me the flowers. She extends the corner of her sari. Krishna, looking at Radha's face, he says to himself, decorated with restlessness, the eyebrows of Radha are expert in the art of Tandava, fierce dancing. Vishaka whispers and says, oh Lalita, look, because Radha has aimed the enchanting arrow of her sight-long glance at Kana, she has become bewildered and is not aware that he has placed his flute on the edge of Radha's sari along with the flowers. Lalita says, the transcendental cowherd boys are not able to steal away the flute from the son of Nanda even when he sleeps. The fortunate Radha has nevertheless bewildered him with the art of her sidelong glance, and she has stolen away the flute before his very eyes. Radha says aside, this is the same fruit which causes the gopis' hands to become numbed when they perform their household duties. At night time, this flute attracts the golden complexioned gopis even from the laps of their husbands. This flute loosens the gopis' tight bells even in the presence of their superiors. This rascal flute, the property of Gokula Mangala, is now under my control. Madhumangala from offstage says, oh dear, you must have seen my dear friend. Krishna said, how is it that Madhumangala is coming here? Madhumangala holding a garland in his hand and says, I have heard from the mouth of Subal that Radha is staying awake in the middle of the forest. I have therefore come to give her courage. He approaches Radha and says, my dear friend, Radha Krishna appears very charming, garlanded with many forest flowers. He wears glittering golden bracelets and his limbs bear many decorative lines drawn in colorful mineral pigments. He is the Lord of all the worlds. How is it that, attracted by the waves of your sidelong glance, he has become stunned and now appears as a great dark stone? Radha smiles. Oh beloved, my dear friend knows how bewildered I become during the darkness of night. Radha says, oh noble boy, now out of affection and courtesy, please instruct me in how to cross over the ocean of this endless forest. Madhumangala says, oh friend, it is well that you should understand. You must have remained awake thinking the movements of the creepers were due to wild animals in the forest. All glories to you. Now you know that there are no wild animals here. There is only my dear friend and Lord. Now you can enter into the cottage without any fear and sleep. Radha says, oh noble sir, why do you speak in this way? Alas, in this forest, when I do not for a moment seek the series of moon, which are the splendor of the tips of the nails of the enemy of Kamsa, then at once the rising moon wounds me, and the merciless rising of the sun leaves me completely bereft of hope. In such a condition, I am overcome by exhaustion and fatigue. The first part of this verse may also be taken as follows. When in the beginning it was seen that in Krishna's grove were the splendor of the tips of Chandravali's nails, then, etc. Madhumangala, he takes it in the second meaning and says, aside, alas, Radha has seen Chandravali meet Krishna in this forest grove. I will give up trying to cheat her. I will simply flatter her. He says openly, "O beautiful girl, when he could not see you, Gokula's prince became filled with despair. In that condition, Chandravali, halfway through Madhumangala's verse, Krishna knits his eyebrows, signaling him to stop. Struck with wonder, everyone gazes at each other. Madhumangala says aside, alas, alas, I am a Brahmana boy who spoken very recklessly. Krishna, reflecting, says, I have had a long night. Madhumangala is so exhausted that his throat is now choked with tears. I shall complete the verse he has begun. Smiles. Madhumangala meant to say, clinging to the sight of the moon and being reminded of you, I was somehow able to pass the night. Chandra, moon, Avalina, clinging to. Madhumangala says, dear friend, you are omniscient, so it is natural that you know the second half of the verse I kept in my heart. Lalita says, Radha, even now you are bewildered? Look at how the handsome limbs of this rake bear the marks of amorous pastimes. Angrily she says in Sanskrit, my dear girl, turn your heart from this Krishna, whose chest is as splendid as a sapphire, and whose sidelong glances rest on the breasts of the young girls of Gokula. Do we not already know how this rake attracts respectable girls, pollutes them, and then fearlessly leaves them? Radhika says, alas, alas, I have been cheated. Krishna says, beloved, you rebuke me without any good reason. Radhika, taunting him, she says in Sanskrit, I know that your eyes are red because some pollen fell in them when, without blinking, you searched for the path to come to me. And I know that the wound on your bimba fruit lips was created by the cold forest wind. My Lord, do not fear. I am not criticizing you. I have simply been struck by my own destiny. Krishna says, beloved, I am your submissive servant. I fear even to decorate you with ornaments. Radhika says, in all the worlds you are famous as the supreme independent. How is it possible for you to become the submissive, dependent servant of me? Krishna says, I am not alone in my subordination to you. My 10 incarnations are also your subordinates. My fish incarnation, Matsya, is subordinate to the fish, which are your restless eyes. My tortoise incarnation, Kurma, is subordinate to the beautiful turtles of your breast. My boar incarnation, Varaha, subordinates himself to the association of your throbbing chest. My Nisimha incarnation, who delights Prahlad, subordinates himself to your delightful lips. My Vamana incarnation, who bound Bali with ropes, is also subordinate to your waist, which is bound by a slight fold of skin. My incarnations of Ramachandra, Parasurama and Balrama are subdued by the beauty of your face. My Buddha incarnation subordinates himself to your intensely beautiful body. My incarnation of Kalki has been subdued by the quarrelsome, crooked nature of your heart. Radhika says, Ah, Lalita, now have you heard? Lalita says, O Kanha, your incarnations all remain within yourself. We can clearly see the symptoms of these incarnations in your character. You possess the restlessness of Matsya, the hardness of Kurma, Varaha's tendency to touch the earth, the cruel fingernails of Narasingha, the expertise at cheating of Vamana, the charming moon-like glow of the destroyer of Ravana's dynasty, the untiring persistence of Parasurama, the intoxication of Balaram, Buddha's wish to torment sacrificial performances, and Kalki's ability to overcome all obstacles in order to have a climatic end to his pastimes. Clearly, therefore, Matsya and all the other incarnations are splendidly manifested within you. Note, touching the earth, go sangatihi, can also be translated as associating with cows. Krishna smiles and says, Friend, look, Lalita has become unfriendly. Radha has become my enemy. I am now burning in pain, and the branchless tree named Vishakha is unable to give me any shade. Taking a garland of malli flowers from the hands of Madhamangala, Krishna bows down before Radha and speaks the following praises. Krishna says, O Radha, just like you, this garland is very precious, splendid, delicate, and very fragrant. Let it be the pathway that leads to your heart. I pray that this garland may become like the celestial river Ganges, which beautifies the Lord Shiva's head of your breast, which are the abode of crescent moon-shaped fingernail scratches. Moving his eyebrows, Krishna tries to gain Vishaka's sympathy. He hands the garland to her, and she in turn places the garland before Radha. I think looks like some pieces are actually missing. It says 445 to 451, and also Act 5, 6, 7, and the epilogue. So out of the other ones, I think it's these other parts seems to be missing. So that actually ends Rupa Goswami's Vidagdha-Madhava as far as we have. So before concluding, we're going to sing a song written by Srila Rupa Goswami, followed by a small kirtan. So we are going to sing this song. The song name is Gokula Mangala Vamsi by Srila Rupa Goswami. This is from Stavamala Volume 6, Song 19. And we have taken this from the source kksongs.org. And we thank them for making all these songs available for us so that we can sing together here. Gokula Mangala Vamsi Gokula Mangala Vamsi Dhavanirvudgajati Vanagataye Smara Bhupati Shasana Shamsi Gokula Mangala Vamsi Kim vitanosi mudhanga vibhushana kapate natra vighatam sodhumaham sama yashana samprati shaktalava pipatam Gokula Mangala Vamsi Dhavanirudgajati Vanagataye Smara Bhupati Shasana Shamsi Madhava Charanangushtana Khajutir Ayamudayati Madhama Maguru Jana Bhaya Mudgira Muhuriyam Abhavam Dhabita Kama Gokula Mangala Vamsi Dhavanirudgajati Vanagataye Smara Bhupati Shasana Shamsi Tam Sevitumiha Pashya Sanatana Paramaranya Javesam Gopavadhutatir Iyamupasarpati Bhanusuta Tatapesham Gokulamangalavamsi Dhavani Durgajati Vanagataye Smara Bhupati Shasana Shamsi Gokula Mangalavamsi Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, Haribo, Haribol Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Haribol Nitai Gaura Haribol, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Jai. So thank you very much for joining in the reading, part 2 of Sri Vidagdha-Madhava. Fortunately, looks like in part of it we are missing here, but we hope you enjoyed this reading, and we also wish and hope that you will be able to join us in our next reading. Hare Krishna, thank you very much.